I remember vividly struggling with this, right? Other insurance, kind of joking earlier, like, but I'm dead. So I remember walking out the first appointment, like, they're good. They're all set. I don't do my job. Thank you whoever got here before me, like stupid. But, and because what happens, and the truth is when you start digging out policies, I think 99% of the time, dude, it was not what they thought it was. There was maybe one out of like 100 where I'm like, that actually is the wow, you actually knew your policy. Cool, but you still need some more, though, right? Because you filled this out. But more often than not, we find out they're in something that was accidental. They didn't know it. Price goes up next year, had no idea. Ends at age 80. They're 81. Like, dude, this is not even, in force anymore. So if you can kind of, dig into that, like, what do you do specifically to get that out, and what are you looking for?
So it all starts with the structure in the home. You got to set your time and the expectation, telling that customer, here's how this is going to go down.
Yep.
After you've brought out the emotional side to the sale, and you've asked, typically for me, after you've asked the wife, what would today look like if Tim here didn't show up yesterday?
Yep.
After that, I think that's the perfect setup for the financial inventory.
Yep.
And my favorite part of that financial inventory is the golden question. What do you have that acts like life insurance? Because you get them at this point, they've trusted you that they're going to start telling you, I got 200 grand here, I got 100 grand there.
Right.
And then my follow-up is, do you have an existing life insurance policy? And I just wait.
Yep.
And then I just wait until they give me the right answer. Because most people we see do have life insurance, which is great.
Right.
I used to be just like you. I used to be so scared to call someone and have them tell me, I have life insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What do they need me for? I love it now.
Yeah.
I just sit there and look at them. Okay, great.
Because the key, real quick, is they had that life insurance when they filled out the form. It's not like they just got it, you know? So.
But it also tells you they believe in the idea of life insurance.
Right.
So you're at the right place at the right time. You just got to help them and customize that policy to them.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. 99% of the time when you sit with a family, they don't know what they got.
Right.
They've forgotten what they have. It's not what they were thinking. It's never what they thought it was.
Right.
So I sit there until I get the right answer, and I don't move because if you move on, it's going to bite you later.
Yeah.
And also, you're not serving that client. You're there to serve the client. So until I get the right answer, and they tell me, yes, we have an existing life insurance policy. Okay, great. What do you got?
Yeah.
How much are you paying? And I go right into every question. And then I sit there until they give me the right answers. Where's your policy?
What do most people say?
I don't know. I go, okay. So he passed away yesterday. I'm your beneficiary. I'm looking on who to call. So where's the policy?
Right.
Well, you're gonna have to come back. I'll go, no, I got some stuff to do here. I'm gonna plug in some information. Go ahead and find it. And I'll just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
Go find your policy. Because it sounds like you're being forceful, but you're not. You're doing them a service because.
And you're also calm. Like,
oh yeah,
you're asking like that. You're not getting all excited or nervous. It's just like it's part of the process. Go get it.
I'm calm because I know I'm serving them. It's in their best interest to show me their policy because I know most likely what they have is not good. Because here at Family First Life, since we have so many different insurance carriers, I can customize that policy to them, their need to serve that family. What ends up happening is they start scrambling around the house.
Yeah.
You hear things moving.
Right.
And then they come out with a dusty policy. Oh,
on average, how long does it take them to find it?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. And I'll sit there. It does not matter. I will not budge because I know my job is to serve that family.
Yep.
When they bring it out, then I also remind them, part of my job as a field underwriter is to explain to you what you have. Let's look at the summary pages in your policy. So I'll bring it up, and as you said, more often than not, that policy does not match what their needs, does not match what they were thinking also. So,
and the key with that, like, so you've how long you been selling with us?
Since June 2019.
Okay. So over a year and a half, so if you're brand new and you go, well, I don't know what to look for, right? Because that's, I guess, makes sense, right? You just started selling life insurance last week. You're not really sure. You could call the company. Like, you literally get out the policy and go, you know what? It says it ends at 80. Let's call and find out. Have you ever call a company in the house?
I have, but I basically look for level premium.
Yep.
level coverage, and how long the coverage lasts. Because a lot of times people think, no, it's whole life. It's going to go forever.
Everyone has whole life. Yeah, everyone you talk to. I got a $200,000 whole life policy, and I pay $80 a month. No, you don't. No.
20-year term.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So by doing that, not only are you serving the client, but you're building that rapport, and now they're trusting you. You're the insurance professional in that house. So serve that family. Review that policy. As a new agent also, I used to get so afraid of, yes, it is $100,000. I am paying $30 a month. I used to be like, oh, my God, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? But value always wins over price.
Yeah.
Value always wins. Find what makes their buttons right. Tick and show them the value. Our products are way better than anything else out there.
Right.
Show them that value.
Yeah. And that, kind of going back to what we were just talking about, they already had that. So, okay, if they really had $100,000 for $30 a month, well, dude, it's $100,000. What's that going to do? And then you kind of like, obviously you fill this out because you know you need something out. Congratulations on taking care of that. But you need this as well, right? Like you fill out this for mortgage protection. That's not mortgage protection. Right. So let's discuss that a little bit when you're at that point where, okay, they have something. It's not horrible. But how do you then go transition from there to, okay, let's get another policy on top of that?
Easy transition. As long as you're serving that family and you're honest,
yeah,
they're going to see it. People read you. So, if they have $50,000 in coverage and you tell them honestly, yeah, this is good coverage, but here's what we're missing. And you relate back to that financial inventory. Tom, you're telling me you make $100,000 a year and Mary only makes $20,000. What are we going to do? Okay, yes, the $50,000 will take care of some things, but we're missing the kids' college, your income, the mortgage. List all those things, and that fundamental, that principle starts with that financial inventory. Relate back to it. They already trust you. You honestly reviewed their policy. You've built the rapport. You're the professional. Just go back to it.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like you got to get back to why you're there in the first place, right? Like that's your job. Your job, because I know, at least for me, what I would fall into early on when I had the other policy is I felt like I had to beat their policy, right? I got to do something better. Well, dude, they've had this for 5 years.
Right.
They were younger when they got it. I'm not going to do anything better. But that's not why they filled this out. The lead doesn't say fill this out if you want a better policy than one you have. It's like take a step back and remember what you're actually doing there. They have life insurance, great. They don't have mortgage protection. They don't have final expense, whatever. They don't have income replacement. What did you get this for, right? Like find out why. You have this policy. Why did you even get this policy? I think sometimes we make up our mind for them, right?
Correct.
So transition to that now, go through that sales, like how you're building the value now. So they got I got $100,000. I've had it forever. I filled this out. How are you building that value for an additional policy?
So the building the value always wins. Sometimes you sit with people and they got a term policy that's just straight up term, no return of premium.
Yeah.
So I use that as my point of value, my attack point. I can say, okay, so Tom and Mary, you do have some good coverage here, but in the long run, and I do the math with them, and I write it down because always write everything down because when you write it down, it becomes important.
Right.
So you're going to spend, and I tell them spend 20 years, 20,000. Here, you're going to save, and do the math, this amount of money. So this works both ways. If something would have happened to Tom here, you're going to get paid. And if nothing happens, best case scenario, you're going to get paid. And that's what I do. And I use those exact words. You're going to spend, or you can save this amount of money.
Yeah. And what, out of 10 clients, what do they say then?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. And again, we know that the return to premium may be quote unquote more.
Right.
But in the long run, it's definitely less.
Better value.
Yep.
Yeah, because you get nothing back on the other one. Now you're getting something back on this one.
Absolutely.
Now, how many times have you run into where they just cannot find the policy? Or have you ever?
Yep. And then I'll try to dig up as much information as I can to then call. Or I've done this too. Okay, let's log in.
Yeah.
And I'll turn my iPad around. Here you go. What company?
Right. That's the thing, man. You can log in. You can call. I've done that. Hey, let's call a company. What company is it? Oh, it's XYZ. Okay. You give me your information, authorize them to talk to me. All I want to know is what do we got?
Absolutely.
And then there's no confusion. Because
and I'll put it on speaker too, so they can listen to it. I've done it where a lady thought she had $250,000 whole life coverage.
Yeah.
Ended up being $50,000 whole life, $200,000 renewable term that renewed every single year.
Yeah.
I made sure I turned up the speaker. So she heard it. But it was a great exercise for me. I learned about that company's policy, but for her as well, because a friend sold her that policy, and she was like, this is not what I was told. This is not what I need. This doesn't serve me. And at the end, that's what it's about, serving that client.
That's a good point, too, right? You learned about the policies. So part of bringing them out is you get to see what's out there, you know, and we're not in the business in there trashing everybody's policy. Listen, every policy serves a different type of need, right? But I think what happens too much in this industry is you're sold a policy based on where that individual works, not so much your need, right? The policies that, you know, you're improving their situation may be good for someone else, but not our clients. That's why they're filling this out, and we sit down and go, do you know it does this? No. You know, what is usually the reaction? Because I always feel like it reminds me of, and this is a really bad analogy, but remember the Maury Show when they used to do the paternity test, right? And you're not the father, and they like, you know, celebrate or whatever. And it's almost like, because that's about how confident the client is, and they like, you're wrong, right? No, you don't know what you're talking about, Richard. It's $500,000 whole life. I pay $20 a month, never ends, covers my whole family. You're like, dude, and then when they find out, like, it's almost like they got caught on like candid camera, right? Like it's you, and I feel like the whole dynamic shifts, right? Like at that point, you can't screw it up at that point, right? Like what is the reaction you're seeing when you finally go like, dude, listen, it ends in, you know, in 5 years?
It's for a brief second, Mike. It's a little uncomfortable for them.
Yeah.
But for you and for them, they notice this guy's a professional. He's here to really serve me and help me and my family out. Because life insurance is a huge decision for any family, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about if the main breadwinner or husband and wife both at the same time pass away, what's going to happen to those dependents, the family, all those things that come afterward that could become a potential mess. Well, they are going to be a mess.
Right.
So it gets a little weird for like a second, but then they notice this guy's really here to help me.
Yeah.
He's not here to just sell me a policy. He's here to serve.
And because you're doing it the right way, you're not going, oh, that policy sucks. This company, I know all about them, but that doesn't work.
Right.
You're doing it from dude, I'm trying to help you. I want to know exactly what you have, because usually it's not what you think it is, right? Like, you know, what do you, if they're asking why I need to get my policy, what are you saying?
I just tell them, listen, to be fair and to give you a fair comparison, that's what we need to see. Okay. And then I go back to part of my job as a field underwriter is to review the summary of your policy, right? I know it's been a long time, and then back to the financial inventory. You told me you got it 6 years ago. Do you really remember exactly what you have?
Right.
So just going right back to your foundation, that financial inventory.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, part of it is like you're calm, you're not overreacting, you're not arguing with them. It's literally coming from a point of like, I'm trying to help you out. When it comes from I'm trying to make a sale, they can tell.
Right.
Because I've been there. You know, you just like, you know, they name the company, and it's like, you know, you ran 8 appointments, you got a bunch of sales, you're just trying to get through it, days long. They name a company, you know exactly what they have. You're like, I don't want to go through the back and forth to go get it's crap, you know, and it doesn't work. You don't close. Because you're sitting there telling them how bad it is, and they feel bad because they bought the policy. Even if they know you're right, they're not going to do business with you.
Right.
You know, but if it comes from dude, I'm trying to help you out, man. Let's look at it together. And then, oh, wow, look, you see it does that? That's crazy. You know, but that's big. Like, you know, think about how many sales you could potentially lose by not doing that, you know, and it's easy in the beginning to not, because it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to go, hey, go grab your policy and then just sit there as they're sitting there, because they're not going to get up like this. They're going to give you some BS about, I don't know where, blah, blah. But dude, more often than not, they come back in like 3 minutes. And if they waited 10, they're probably standing there for a few minutes to pretend like they were looking for it, because they knew exactly where it was.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, too. If your beneficiary needed to know where it was, like, you'd find it. It's
Absolutely.
your life insurance policy. What do you mean? There's a drawer with junk in it. It's in there. Or if you actually are someone that still has a filing cabinet in your house at 2021, it's probably in there. Or a safe. Like, come on. Yeah. It's not that deep. You know, you didn't misplace it in the garage somewhere or left it in your, you know, truck.
Kind of becomes the rule of sale, first one to talk loses. And that's exactly what I do. I just sit there, start typing away.
Right.
I look at them, start typing away until they get their policy, because I know deep down inside they need the help.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm there to do.
Yep. And guess what? Whoever waits it out the long, it's like a game of chicken, right? Whoever outwaits is going to win, because eventually people don't like silence, makes them uncomfortable. And if you're just sitting there typing away, dude, you could just be bashing your keys. They don't know what you're doing.
Right.
you know, and if you show, like I remember doing that with the check. We used to, years ago, check would be the last thing you asked for. Hey, man, so grab me the voided check for the bank draft. And then you just sit there. And I remember this dude sat there for like 5 minutes. Finally, I looked over, I said, dude, I got to go. Can you just go grab me that check real quick? He's like, oh, right now? Yeah, I needed it 10 minutes ago, but okay. And just they do it because they don't like, he wants the policy. It's just weird, you know? And, you know, so, but dude, that stuff's awesome. And it definitely will help. And guys, it's like, just ask the questions. Use the financial inventory. If you make it part of the process, they'll just do it. It's like the phone. You start asking questions. What's the house look like? Write this down. Well, it feels like it's part of the process. Go back to the doctor's office. You walk in, they tell you, they don't ask, do you mind getting undressed? They go, I'm going to step out, take that off, put the robe on, sit on the little butcher paper. I'll be right back. Like it's nothing. You don't go, well, excuse me, doctor, I don't really want to take my socks off because my feet, like, just do it. Right? Give me your arm. Let me check. You just follow along. So, well, thanks, dude. I know